the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast. I am Jay. With me is Mark. We're part of Dash Radio. How you doing?
I am totally kind of confused. I think I know what's going on. I don't really know. We're in the middle of the draft. We usually go. We traditionally have. I go dark. Jay explains to me what happened. Whatever. We're recording live. And we are up to date on what's going on, or I am kind of up to date. So, as far as what's happened, the Knicks at number 11, they announced that guy Dieng from Oklahoma. From New Zealand. I was freaked out because the guy looks like a major project. Didn't seem like he made a lot of sense. They traded him, though, to OKC. And now the Knicks may have traded for Jalen Duran.
Yeah, the Knicks got Jalen Duran, but then they traded Jalen Duran with Kemba Walker to the Pistons.
Wait, wait, what?
So we had a discussion before the show that I said we shouldn't record until information came in. And Mark's like, no, let's record now. So
You said you couldn't record tonight otherwise.
It's true, but by the time I upload this, like, none of this information is going to be relevant.
So wait, what happened now? I know I heard Kemba Walker was traded, which is fine. So Jalen Duran was drafted at 13 by the Hornets, who I guess I wouldn't be excited. I didn't love the idea of Knicks taking a center, but he's supposed to be really good, and maybe it would make sense as replacing Mitch. But he's been traded to Detroit with Kemba. Why are all the Knicks moves secrets?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like we got the full details of every move, and then the Knicks apparently made a bunch of moves, and Woj and Shams don't even have the details on it. It's like some vague, like, Knicks did something.
Yeah, it's just the most frustrating. Like, when they told me, when I heard they'd made a trade with OKC, I was like, oh, okay, well, OKC has the 12th pick, so maybe they just swap picks, and the Knicks got something else. Makes perfect sense. Totally good move. But they're like, no, it's not the next pick. It's just future first-round picks. And you're like, when are they? We don't know.
Yeah. So
What did they trade to get Duran?
I don't know. It was like the Knicks traded away the 11th pick, and somehow they got Duran.
Is Leon Rose just rubbing one out while doing all this? Like, he must like, this is like, we're going to do this. We're going to play like 8D chess. It's going to be amazing. Why did they just draft AJ Griffin?
So it seems like, yeah, well, okay. Who did you want the Knicks to draft?
I mean, outside of guys they could have traded up for, I would have loved, Ivy, I would have been.
Well, yeah, we all know, like, but
yeah,
they have the 11th pick. Like, the 4th is a stretch.
What I was going to say was I would have given up next year's pick plus the Dallas pick plus IQ to get Ivy. I would have been all in on a big move for Ivy. Pair another star next to RJ. I would have loved that. Outside of a trade up, I also Dyson Daniels would have been interesting. But outside of a trade up, I was all in on AJ Griffin. He's supposed to be the best shooter in the draft. Knicks, you could always use shooting. Guys that can shoot are always value. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", play small forward. I know we have Grimes. You're always gonna have multiple guys at any position. Wings are very valuable. Guys who can shoot are very valuable. I like that move. Is he off the board yet? I don't think he's even off the board yet.
Who, AJ Griffin?
Yeah, has he been drafted?
Yeah, the Hawks took him at 16.
Oh, 16. Okay. Yeah, so I thought he'd be reasonable. Who did you want, Jay? I
wanted Johnny Davis. And, I still think Tari Eason is going to be really good. But, I would have been mad if they took him at 11 because he's projected to go way lower than that.
Yeah, he's projected. He looks like on paper he looks really good. He's projected to go 19. If you take Eason, he's a power forward. If you have OB and you have Eason as your power forward, fine. You can make that work. It just means Randall has to be gone. You cannot go to next year with Randall. But what?
So
This is
Detroit
really
got Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duran with one future first-round pick. How is that even possible?
wait. So Detroit. What did Detroit give the Knicks?
I have no idea. Nobody seems to know.
How does the Woj not know this?
So it seems like the Knicks are not picking anymore this in the first round. So I guess they're getting 2 picks next year, or a pick next year and then a pick in 3 years.
I don't know. I don't. So I made some. I do a lot of overreacting posts, and I said a post when now the Knicks traded the pick to fire Leon Rose. While I'm overreacting, I don't know if Leon Rose, everyone trusts. Like, has he really done a great job in the draft? Year one, he takes Obi over Tyrese Halliburton, the obvious pick. Like, just such a obvious pick for a team that's desperate for a point guard. I like Obi. Tyrese was the pick. In the second round, they had like the 31st or 32nd pick in the draft. They just punted on it. They said the second round pick is worthless. They just punted on that pick. I, at the time, said it was terrible, not a good sign for the future of Leon Rose. And everyone's like, oh, you're overreacting. Year two, they had the 19th and 21st pick. They turned that into only one pick at 25. And they got Cam Reddish, but a rookie on a 4-year deal versus Cam Reddish you have to pay next season or after this coming season. And also Cam Reddish doesn't seem like he really necessarily even fits with the Knicks. I don't know what Leon Rose is doing as far as the draft. All I know is also all his free agent signings are guys the Knicks immediately want to get rid of the following season.
Yeah, it seems like we just traded an asset to get rid of a guy that they just signed.
Yeah, I mean, the first year of Leon, you were like, okay, well, this is working. We made the playoffs. Great. But you can't immediately backtrack and be out of the playoffs and look kind of like lost in year two. It's supposed to be, if anything, year one should be lost and year two should make the playoffs. We're sliding backwards. It doesn't seem like they have a plan. The Knicks had a defensive identity in the year one, and they kind of just overreacted and got rid of that defensive identity in the year two. We had all this cap space, which they turned into almost nothing, except for guys they now want to move.
So Tari Eason just went to the Rockets at 17.
Okay.
So, that's it for all the guys I wanted.
Why did you want Eason? It doesn't even matter. Who cares?
You know, I always have like a sleeper pick that I think is going to be really good. That falls down, and that was my pick for this year.
Well, in the past, for longtime listeners of the show, Jay nailed the KP pick, and though it seems obvious in retrospect, Jay was in on Doncic from like November of that year.
Right, and the one sketchy pick I made is starting to look good. I said Ingram's going to be better than Simmons.
I was going to say the other one would be you were really in on Buddy Hield.
Yes. So I don't want to just brag the whole time. I was way off last year. I wanted Book Knight.
Was he that bad for Indiana?
Wasn't he Charlotte?
Charlotte, sorry, yeah, Charlotte. Well, he didn't. Was he the one that didn't play?
Well, he basically didn't play. So
who even knows?
Not great. Yeah. Yeah, so it's hard to comment. Like, I think it's bad that the Knicks basically didn't get anything for this season. This draft, we don't know. We don't know what they're getting for the future yet, so I can't really comment on that. And I know the Knicks. A lot of Knicks fans are like, "Oh, the Knicks have a young core, and they're blah blah blah." But like, they were the 11th seed. So, they got a ways to go. They need more talent.
Wait, the Pistons are sending the Hornets the 2025 first-round pick via Milwaukee in the Duran trade. Why are they sending? I thought the Knicks made the. What were the Knicks doing in the Duran trade then?
They got the 2025 first-round pick from Milwaukee in the Jeremy Grant trade.
Is that what they got?
Yeah.
Wait, the Knicks got the 225?
No. Detroit got Milwaukee's 2025 first-round pick for Jeremy Grant. So then I know, yeah, but they said the Pistons are sending the Hornets that pick. Right.
What did the Knicks do in the? So my understanding, I think where I thought that Durant was traded to the Knicks and then traded to the Pistons. Were the Knicks even involved in this?
I don't know.
Maybe the Knicks were involved to make money work, and they really didn't have a role in this. You know, like a third team that gets involved is like throw us a second round pick in the year 2075, and we're good.
So Woj just tweeted, Houston has considered Eason the best defender in the draft.
That could have made sense. That was a pretty good move. Why? So the Knicks are running it back with the team that was the 11th seed, and the Knicks are like, last year the Knicks were the 4th seed, and they were like, we got to make major changes to the roster. We changed 40% of our starting unit. This year the Knicks are like, well, we're the 11th seed. We can just run this back.
It seems like that's the plan, right?
By the way, do you know Alex Burks? Alex Burks had foot surgery.
Yes. Yeah, but he's going to be back by the beginning of the season. So that's, you know.
Well, he'll be back on the Knicks by the beginning of the season.
It seems like the Knicks are trying to move him. He makes $10 million, and he was like one of the better players on the Knicks. I don't even understand that one, but
well,
anyway.
They're trying to clear cap space to go for because they have no cap space. So they use it all less. By the way, I just hate how they have no cap space to go for the guys they want, like the guy on Dallas.
So they want Brunson and Brogdon, which it's like now you want to pay $20 million to a guard when you could have just drafted a guard. Like, I don't understand.
If you're building a team, you're better off having young players that are on rookie contracts. What's the point of getting Brunson? I mean, I like getting Brunson. I don't not like it, but what are they trying to do here?
Is Brunson really good because he was a really good fit with Doncic and what they were doing on the Mavs?
No.
Or is he just like is he going to look anything like he did if he's like the Knicks' #1 guard option?
When Doncic did not play, Brunson averaged over 20 points a game. He looked pretty good. He's
fine.
a good basketball player. There's
I'm
no
not saying
question.
He's not good. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how good he's going to be.
Right. Well, he's not. He's a guy that like will be a P. He's not like the Knicks always act like every guy we have to get is the put us over the top. With like this guy will take us to the finals kind of guy. Whereas you could just say he's a pretty good point guard. We haven't had a good point guard here in a while, so he's a decent addition to the team.
Yeah, but for $20 million, like, do you want a decent addition to the team for like $20 to $25 million a year?
I mean, that's what if you're not going to draft a guy, that's what you have to do.
But
there's no other. You can't get a decent addition for $10 million.
But they should draft a guy. That's
well, yeah. They should obviously draft a guy. They should always. The Knicks roster. I know everyone's like, oh, we have a core and all this. We need better players. You know, I heard this the way to describe this. They were like, they said the Knicks have some teams have a bunch of like core guys or a bunch of like all-stars. The Knicks just have a bunch of guys. They have a bunch of guys who can play basketball. They're all decent. They're all NBA players. They're just a bunch of guys. They don't have anyone that's really great. Obviously, RJ's really good. Everyone else below him, maybe Obi, maybe IQ. What he was showing at the end of last season's real. I don't know. Are we really? What are we building here? Is this really going to be a contender?
No.
Like if anything, also like we've had many drafts in recent history where we drafted a guy and a couple picks later a really good player was drafted. The Knox draft, 4 of the next 5 picks were awesome. We're all-star level players. I think I got that right. 4 of those next players were awesome. Frank, Donovan Mitchell won a few picks later. I mean, even when we drafted IQ, a few picks later was the dude on Memphis, Bane. They're always good players there. To go an entire season and just say we don't need the 11th pick is ridiculous.
It is. And so it just came in that it was a 3-way trade with Charlotte, Detroit, and the Knicks.
That makes more sense. So the Knicks really weren't. Knicks were just a facilitator.
Yeah, and now Kemba's going to get bought out by the Pistons. So Kemba's going to get bought out by 2 of the last 3 teams he was on. Okay.
So what did the Knicks get back? Did they say?
No.
Or is it a secret? Everything. So the Knicks return in this draft is just a top secret.
So this whole thing apparently was to get cap space to get rejected by Jalen Brunson.
Well, what cap space did we get? We just moved Kemba.
That's
that was
million.
9. That's $10 million. Okay, yes, we moved that $10 million. And I guess we have to remove someone else. But like, Why not draft anyone?
You got to pay a guy $25 million a year instead of drafting a guy in a rookie contract. It's the rules.
I go back to I think Leon Rose should be fired. I know people think like I'm overreacting. I don't think he's competent at this job. I'd want someone who's run an organization before, knows what they're doing. The stuff Leon Rose does, I really question I think his goal here is to build a team that's quote unquote respectable, where we're the 7th seed, where we're between 9 and 7 every year. We go nowhere.
Here's what I have to say about this. They better know for a fact that Brunson is going to, they better have tampered the shit out of this. Because if they do all this and they don't get Brunson, they just punted on the 11th pick in the draft to try and get a guy that didn't come. Like that would be a disaster, an absolute disaster.
It also seems like Brunson. If you're Brunson, why would you leave Dallas? If Dallas can get the money for you, like $20 million, if they get some kind of decent offer, you're going to play next to Doncic, a generational type of talent. Are you really going to leave there to go to the Knicks?
Yeah, it's like you're gonna go to a worse situation for less money. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, even if it's the same money, like I just don't think the Knicks can pay that much more than Dallas can. I'm not like I know it sounds like I'm overreacting about Leon Rose, and I don't know if he really should be fired, but I just don't have a lot of faith in what he's doing. And I think next year we're going to complain about all these things, and they're going to everything's going to fall on Tibbs. You're like, Tibbs, why are you doing this? Tibbs, why are you doing this? You'll be like, Tibbs will be playing the vets because that's who Leon gave him. Tibbs won't give Obi playing time because Randall will still be on the team. Randall's got to be moved, right? Are they still going to keep Randall?
It looks like it. Like you said, they're going to run back the whole team minus Kemba.
Yeah, I mean, basically. So here's what they're going to do: they're going to clear Kemba. They'll somehow clear one of the other guys, like Noel, and then use that cap money on no one. Just like 2 years ago, they had all this. Like last year, they had all this cap money. And they didn't use it at all. They just used it on their guys they already had.
No, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna sign like a seventh guy off the bench for like a 1 year, $12 million deal because they have the cap space and they're gonna have to spend it.
I got it. 3-year, $30 million offer to Frank Ntilikina to bring him back home. I just like how much faith do you really have in the Knicks at this point?
None. I didn't have any before. I've been faking it all season.
I know you're always faking with me, Jay. The thing is, like, the one thing that fans are getting excited about more than anything are the young players. And you're telling me you're not going to add someone? And I don't like the arguments of like Tibbs. Well, Tibbs doesn't play the young guys. Who has he not played? The only dude he hasn't played is the guy in New York who's not here.
Yeah. I mean, we wanted McBride and Grimes to get more minutes, but
they all got a chance to play though.
Yeah, everyone.
And they're all practicing. He sees them in practice. Maybe he's a little hard on the rookies, but they all seem to be developing, and no one was developing before he got here. Yeah, and the argument of like, well, I mean, like we already have too many guys to play anyway. How about you get better? Where our roster puts on the 11th seed, which means you can probably get better at every position. Okay. Is there anything else the Knicks have done? I guess this is a very short episode.
Yeah, we're going to do a full episode next week when we have all the information, but nothing is coming out. Like, just these vague, Knicks made a 3-way trade. They're getting something in the future, and nobody seems to know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I assume the Knicks got something, or I guess you're right. All they got was cap hit for Kemba, which is fine. That's fine. They move on. It's just like literally every guy they signed last year, except for Derrick Rose, they kind of want to move.
Have you ever heard of a draft where they drafted cap space?
I remember yeah, it's just like, remember when the Knicks had KP and the Knicks were like, this is, and not that I want KP here or anything like that, but they're like, this is the best guy we've drafted in decades, and we're going to use him to clear cap space. And we still don't know who the first round picks are from OKC. And it's let's say you got the OKC's first round pick from next year. Do you think they got the picture from next year? It's probably 2025, 27. it's so out into the future. It just seems like what are we waiting for? Like we're building this treasure, this war chest that we're never going to use on a big name. We're just chasing stars. Like it's just you know what's so frustrating is the Rangers are so goddamn good. They came close to making the Stanley Cup. They're playing young guys. They're an organization that's built right, and they're also owned by goddamn James Dolan.
It's weird.
We should switch to the Rangers or another basketball team.
All right. All right. I guess we'll do a full episode when we have the full details. Let's just.
Yeah, this is a terrible episode. I just there's nothing. It's just we're just confused.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Rob. Brian was saying we always take risks and end with nothing because nobody ever wants to come here. We just need to be safe and draft where we are. Yeah. The Knicks really should have just drafted somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Are you telling me that, like, the guys that went from 11 through 15, none of them are going to be good?
You know they are.
And obviously not everyone is going to be good, but of those guys, at least one of those guys will be a pretty good player we wish we had.
It's going to be Terry Eason.
Could be. I mean, just do the hard work. Figure out who's going to be good, and make a draft pick. It's so frustrating. And I hate the idea, like, well, the Knicks, their guys were off the board. Yeah, well, you know, you should have scouted guys that were going to go pick 11, not scouted Jaden Ivey and go, can't believe he was off the board at number 5. Oh, well.
I feel like they scouted him and Johnny Davis, and like when Johnny Davis got drafted one pick before the Knicks, they're like, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it had to be Johnny Davis because like the trade to OKC was so like it's almost like the Knicks were just dialing. What can you give us, OKC? What can you give us? We'll give you 2 first-round picks. What picks? We'll let you know later. Sounds good.
So even if they get OKC's pick next year, is it even going to be that good? Now they have Holmgren and Shea and Giddey. Like, they're going to be good next year, I think.
I mean, they might be. They seem to have a lot of injury issues with those guys. Well, with Shea at least. They're heading in the right direction. They're a much more fun team to root for, and organization.
I feel like even if the Knicks got their pick, it's going to be like 15.
Well, if they have the 2025 pick, then it's definitely going to be worse.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Are we gonna do a draft? Are we gonna do a draft special when for their second round pick, the Knicks trade out of the second round also?
Oh my God.
Or they draft someone in the second, or the best will be the Knicks trade down from 42nd to 55. They draft someone, and then Knicks fans are convinced the guy at 55 would be just as good as whoever they would have gotten at 11.
If only he played like 47 minutes a game. Cool. Well, that was fun.
I thought the show would just be us, whether it be AJ Griffin. I just thought it would be just one guy, us being like, oh, I mean, like, we didn't watch enough college, but, like, he sounds good. Here's how his strengths. I thought we were doing a 15-minute show where we just analyze this one player. Instead, it's just a baffling mystery.
I know. Some people say we're too negative. If the Knicks drafted literally anybody, it would have been a normal episode. And we would have just been saying, like, okay, let's see how he is. They didn't draft anybody. So
I would have I was pretty annoyed about the Dieng. I thought the New Zealand guy. But even him, I would have been like, well, he's a project. It looks like he's pretty big. Maybe that means they're definitely moving Randall. And well, yeah, we could have basically been positive about anyone as long as they drafted a player.
Yeah, as long as they drafted a human and then not just cap space.
And I can't wait to read like just certain Knicks fans out there or podcasts or Knicks content creators who are going to be like, wow, Leon Rose is smart enough to take someone. He's a genius. God damn it.
Okay. All right. So thanks for listening, and we will be back early next week, and hopefully some positives out of this.
I assume by early next week, some of this stuff will make more sense. I know, like I said to Jay, we should just record now and get it over with because as soon as Jay uploads the show, something awesome will happen. Like we always, after we record, something good happens. Hopefully, we'll record early next week. More of this will make sense. Maybe the Knicks will have made a trade that, like, somehow they've gotten Ivy. I don't know. We'll be in a better state of mind.
All right. Just want to get our thoughts out there.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys soon.
My love